What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Reality Kingdom, where we put the real in reality or whatever, period. I'm your host, Pharaoh, and we are joined today by our wonderful co-host, Kyland Young. King, how are you feeling today? How are you doing?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited to be here. How about yourself?
Awesome. I'm feeling good. I'm doing good. I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. So, Kyland, the first thing I want to ask you and talk about is in 1 week from today. No, 1 week and 1 day from today, the premiere of The Amazing Race is going to be live. You are going to be there. Are you excited? How are you feeling about that? Because that's
Oh goodness. So this chair, I feel like this chair I'm sitting in is squeaking, and I'm gonna switch out chairs. I'm so sorry.
switch out chairs.
I hear it in my head, even if you can't hear it.
Because I sure can't, but it's okay. Oh my God, they in the chat acting up. Oh, they in the chat acting up. But yes, Amazing Race next week. How you feeling?
Amazing Race next week. I'm excited. I think that it is for me. What I'm excited about is getting to see everyone else, because this is a cast where, like, when we got there and saw everybody, I was like, I know a lot of these people.
Yeah.
And the thing about the race is that you don't do like, you're not always next to each other. So I'm just excited to get to see what everyone else's experience was, because like, I don't know what it was like for these teams to do a lot of the race. So for me, I feel like I get to watch it as like a viewer, not having seen most of what happens.
That's very valid. That's very interesting as well, because on the other shows that you've been on, like, you're always with everyone else. You understand kind of the situation with that, because they're most social, kind of strategic in a way games. And the Amazing Race just isn't. How would you say it compares to have played the Amazing Race and then played the challenge and then played Big Brother? Do you feel like you like one more than the other? I don't know.
I mean, I genuinely have not been able to come to a favorite game overall, like, because I think that the comparison I usually do is like pizza and ice cream, because it's like, they're just such different meals with such different for different times, different. So I think of, how the challenge is the most fun, because it's just like summer camp or something. I haven't been to summer camp, but I imagine that seems to be an apt description in my head. Yeah. But the actual, like, the race is like just this very unique experience that is, I mean, all of them are unique experiences, but the race is like, right now, I just say the race lives up to its name. It's amazing and it's fascinating. It's definitely maybe the most fascinating experience. Whereas Big Brother is like the most complex game, and I love the complexity of it. So I have a special relationship. It's like, sometimes, I'll say like video games are more fun than playing chess, but like I like chess more than I like video games, depending on what mindset I'm in. So there's different things I like about all of them. Truly,
I like your answer, but I'm gonna challenge you. What if, let's say, you could only ever play one of these games again, of Amazing Race, The Challenge, and Big Brother, and you could never play the other ones ever again? Which one? And not in the sense that you can always play the challenge because they always call you back. Which one, if you could only play it one more time, this is your last time ever playing a show, which would you of the three?
One game, one time. So yeah, so regardless of how you do, no matter which one you do, you just get one more game.
Which one would you choose? Because your answer was boring. So I need something.
Okay. I can respect that.
I need something.
I can respect that. Okay, the way that you're framing this and the way that you're putting me in this situation, I feel like I would probably say, you know what? Here's one thing I will say.
Okay.
I wouldn't, if I only get one more chance, I lean away from wow, sorry, hold on. Here's why. Let me tell you something. You've asked me, I'm a talker, so this is,
you're good.
Right. All right. I've been asked a similar question, but the parameters were different. So for the last time I was asked something similar, it was like, okay, like, it didn't impact the following year. Like the following year, I might be able to play something else. So if I get to play more challenge, I'm like later, then I'm like, yeah, this year I only get to play one game. I'm going to pick Big Brother because it's rare that you only get to play. People getting to play Big Brother multiple times is so rare. That being said, the thing about the race, oh gosh, okay.
Would Julie say we need to answer, Kyland?
I know. Okay. All right. I'm gonna say the race. I'm gonna say the Amazing
Race.
Yeah.
That is not what I expected. That was the last thing
not even what I expected.
Why do you?
Why do you say today?
That? Okay.
Because I feel like all right, I'm telling Big Brother. Here's what I'm telling Big Brother. I'm telling Big Brother because on principle, I'm not a fan of rookies and newbies playing together.
Okay.
So if I had this ideal scenario, I'd be playing in the with all other vets, basically all-star sort of season. And that sounds fun to me for sure. It sounds a unique experience, but it doesn't have the magic of like the novelty that you get of these other shows where it's like everything's a brand new experience that you do. Like, because it's not. And so that's why I moved this Big Brother out at this moment. Granted, if you were to say like you have to play for Big Brother for my very first time again with like all strangers, I would actually probably lean Big Brother. But with the context that we have, I would say the race now over the challenge. I feel like it's just where my head's at right now. I don't know. Like, I think that the challenge is the most fun of the games, but the race like has this you have the potential to see multiple places and to experience these very like niche like cultural events. And as I'm saying all this, I'm still teetering between the challenge and Big Brother. Or sorry, the challenge and the race. But in this moment, I'm gonna say the race for right now.
It just has a special quality to it, you feel like.
Yeah, but don't get twisted on like, I love the challenge. I want to keep playing as many as I can. But if I'm only playing one time, I don't know. That's what I'm leaning right now.
I love that answer, especially because I mean, hey, y'all better tune in because clearly it was a great experience. So do you feel like you had your most positive experience from the Amazing Race and that might be why you're saying what you're saying, or would you not necessarily say that?
I wouldn't necessarily say that, but I think that, but it's definitely an incredibly like positive experience. It just is. There's so many other reasons.
Yeah. Okay. So speaking of the challenge, you have played the Challenge USA, you've played the Challenge 39 and the Challenge 40. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you played the challenge 3 times. I would assume that USA was a little different. Is that valid to assume, or is that not valid to assume?
USA was only different in the social and the strategy because we had all gamers there pretty much. Yeah. So it felt like a in between almost as far as like everyone was on. We didn't have any MTV players, so everyone was playing this game like strategy. And then it was funny because then when I got to MTV, well, first off, I was in 39, which still had mostly newbies, but the only gamers were really like what's the game? More Michelle and Jay.
Yep.
From who Survivor. Obviously are working against me from Survivor. and then Nerisse is a big gamer fan, so she actually does like try and think thoughtfully like in terms of strategy. But everyone else there was just there for competition and competition or vibes, but mostly competition. I will say they did bring a hungry group of people. That being said, whereas like 40 was, so I feel like each one of mine almost tilted away from like
further and further
towards the OG, towards the style. So whereas like you got into 40 with all the vets, and I was like, oh, they really like clock in and clock out. Like, they clock in for the competition, they clock in to like have whatever pertinent conversations need to be had, like if it's right after or if it's during a vote or a discussion, and then they go back in the house and then they're vibing. And it took me a while to understand that. Like there was like to realize like, oh, they actually, like in Big Brother, everything is a part of the game. Exactly. And in the challenge, so many things are not. Like for Big, like it truly is like, it's not even about a social game. They are truly like 90% of the people are not thinking about it at all. Like
do you like that or does that turn you off, or do you not care, or do you like that?
I mean, it makes it easy, like in terms
Okay,
of
real. I
like,
just feel like for me, I would be
like
like, damn, I need to be stimulated a little bit. Who up in here doing something?
it
But I
makes
don't
it
know.
like you don't have to relax. Like there's just so
Got you.
little strategy to be had in the challenge overall.
Mm-hmm.
Occasionally you can make a strategic move, but strategy for the whole game is so much dictated by competition. And because even like when people are like, people are like, oh, this person has a great like social game. I'm like, yeah, but like, is it also just no one sees them as a threat and no one cares if they go to the end? Because that's not a
Mm-hmm.
great social game. That just
Exactly.
is no one sees you as a threat. So it really just like I'd say 40 it was like watching like like I said Jordan was I got something I had to watch and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, he just doesn't like if you're good then there's nothing they can do about it, and I
Yeah, that's
like
why
that
you gotta watch
aspect
him,
of it.
because
I
he's
like
good.
that aspect of it.
Oh,
So
okay. That makes sense, because you had your moment in Big Brother towards the end where you were like, hey, I'm just trying to beat the best. I'm trying to be with the best. And I feel like the challenge does have similar, I guess, ideologies. So I think that makes sense, I
I
guess.
mean, kind of, but at the same time, I think that like the cool thing about the challenge is that I think because we're like always competing together and so
Yeah.
competition heavy, so it feels like one of those things. It definitely feels a lot less like for me. The lesson that I've said ever since I left Big Brother, I was like, okay,
Hmm.
I want to compete against the best, but I
Exactly.
will not help them get there to the end.
Right.
I will not
Okay.
help them. I will let them get there on their own, unless they're like my ally, like
Hmm.
Horacio or something. I would help, but
Okay.
I wouldn't need to.
That's fair. They're in the chat. I'm so sorry. I know you cannot see the
You're
chat.
good.
I
Yeah, yeah.
intentionally did that, but they are
All
acting
right.
the fool.
I need that.
They're paying to act the fool. I'm like, I don't know if I want to show this, but the girls are just know the girls are loving you right now.
Oh my
They're
goodness.
loving you. You
Nice.
know, our audience, we got a lot of the whores and sluts over here. You know, that's what we give. So that's what they're giving in the chat. I just want them to feel seen. So I'm just letting you know. But let's talk
Thank
about
you.
Big Brother.
You were
Let's talk about
seen.
Big Brother 27. So you've been busy since you left Big Brother. From Big Brother 23, you were on other shows. You was doing a lot of other shit. You know, you had to decompress, yada, yada, yada. I know you're watching Big Brother 27. Have you really watched the other seasons since you've been off? And how was that experience? Or have you not really?
No, I actually 27 is the first season that I'm
Wow.
watching since my
Okay.
season. Yeah. I tried to watch like even our season, a few of us because we were all hanging out after the show and we watched a few episodes and
Yeah.
then it was just kind of like I feel like at the time I truly dismissed it as like, oh, like they barely show anything because like we know, and not even like barely show anything like they're misrepresenting, but barely show as anything as in like there's so much more that goes into the show, but it's like impossible for them to have all those conversations on the
Mm-hmm.
episodes. I get
Exactly.
it. So I dismissed it as that, but in hindsight, I was like, oh, that was probably 20% of the reason I didn't watch. The rest of it was just trauma. Like I
Mm-hmm.
was just like too traumatized from the experience, and not even like in a like I had a negative experience, but just
Yeah.
it really is like it was the
Triggering.
best and the most traumatic experience at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
and just because that you are the isolation adds the psychological and mental element, and then the fact that you guys are voting each other out while building the tightest bonds you've ever created in your entire life. It
Mm-hmm.
is such a mix of emotions that like are not normal
Yeah,
in an
that's real.
environment that's not normal. And so, yeah, I hadn't watched any. Last season, I tried to watch. I probably watched a third of the way, maybe half of
Mm-hmm.
the way. Yeah, maybe honestly like a third. Like I actually really want to see 26 because I've heard
Yeah.
so many awesome things, and I really like have loved Chelsea like as just an awesome person and
Mm-hmm.
competitor. In the interactions I've had with her, like just hanging out, even before I saw her in the race, and
Mm-hmm.
so I really want to watch more of that 26. But yeah, so this was the first season where I started. I probably missed like maybe 2 episodes or 3 episodes at the most.
Yeah, that's
And but even those I may have seen parts of them, and then BB Unlocked helps, so
yeah,
I'll
very much
shameless
so.
plug Unlocked.
Does it feel weird? Does it feel entertaining? Are you kind of like, I want more? Y'all aren't as good as us, our season. How do you feel watching it?
I will say, I'll say that watching this season, the players, it does feel like a lot of gameplay is lacking,
Clark, that's he.
but the only caveat disclaimer I will give them is that I do think that Rachel played a huge part in shifting this game. Like I really, that's why I really just wish I got to see what would these house guests have been like if Rachel wasn't there,
Right.
because
Exactly.
we really had a NBA player dunking on like college players, like
Yeah.
D2 college players at that, and it was just not a and her, she's had so much sway and impact in the game. I don't want to just say sway, but also impact in the game. And yeah, and so I just really wish we got to see it without that. But overall, yeah, I think like even Vince early on was not someone I was rooting for, and still not somebody I'm like rooting for. But early on, I saw and I was like, Vince is having great conversations. He knows what to say. Derek Lasse pointed out, I think on the first episode of BB Unlocked, he said like, this guy is having the right conversations with the right people, saying the right things. And I agreed completely. He really was. But then maybe the first or second time he got on the block, he just like kind of lost it and started fumbling. And I know Rachel was a big advocate to get him on the block and to like push for him. So I wonder how much she threw off his game in a way that maybe no one else would have. If he, or maybe he was always gonna like start to fall apart a little bit when he got on the block. But that being said, like fall apart, I'm using very cavalier. Like he's not falling apart. He still is one of the best positioned people in the house. But I do feel like what I appreciate about this episode is I think it solidified locking in Morgan as a better game player, which I said she was from the beginning on live. I was on TikTok. I was like, she's a gamer and I want to see her game. And then I didn't. And then like by the second week, I was like, all right, she's making these moves. She's politicking. I love it. I know she's a talker. And obviously I appreciate that, even if it bothers people. And and Keanu though is the other one I'm pulling for. I'm really Keanu.
Now why are you pulling for Keanu? Because of what? What's a good reason for that? Because
I do feel like there is a I've pulled for him mix at the end, but it's hard to not appreciate an underdog. And for me, I think that him, when he had his back against the wall week after week after week being targeted, I was like, I'm pulling for this guy. Then he had a couple weeks off, and I was like, I care about him a little bit less. But what really got me too is the way that he was kind of being ostracized by the house. We saw like a mob mentality that like I don't actually personally, I don't think this has anything to do with their character as much as it has to do with the nature of being in that environment. And you know, it's really easy to villainize someone, and it was really easy for everyone to look at him as you know, if he's a house target, which we've seen in the past, but like you know, the way that they've allowed him being house target to allow them to take things he says a certain way and say things to him, you know, that I was like, if you replace Keanu with either like a woman or a small frail white man, like people would see that he's being bullied a lot easier than I think they are. And and obviously I think that's shifted in the house the last week or two, couple weeks, but so that got me on Keanu. And then now I'm just like, you know what? If he can beast his way to the end, I support it. At this point, I support it enough. Like I think the comps, you know, you shouldn't just win comps, but I'll also give him points for winning Rachel over, because Rachel's deciding who wins this game.
And that's very true. And she did. She literally
in my opinion.
No, I think so too. Now on the Keanu thing, it's just not for me. I can't agree, but we don't have to agree at all. But he's just not for me. I don't know what it is though, because I feel like to me when I'm watching him, I'm like, I just feel like I don't appreciate the lack of awareness, the lack of social skills. So it's hard for me to get on the bandwagon of rooting for the underdog. But I will say, you know what I will say? I think that's because I'm so invested in the feeds and I barely watch the episodes. I do feel like when you're watching someone for so long or whatever, the things they do start irritating you differently. Where it's like, if I was just watching for fun rather than to explain, it would be a totally different experience. I do see a world where I like Keanu because I actually don't hate him as much as other people do. I'm kind of like neutral on him, but he's just not for me. But I also like what you said about Rachel and how she shifted the season, because I've had conversations with people on the podcast with Lee, and we've talked about how Rachel is a little bit more ingratiated in this season than we've seen someone like Paul, who just sat on top of everything and just, you know, manipulated it. Rachel was a little bit more ingratiated within the people within the groupings. But I think people forget that she still did shift the tide of this game. And you kind of reminded me of that, because it's like she definitely did change the way this game would have gone. Vince probably would not have been nominated so early had she not been in the game, and he got nominated multiple times, once by her. Even Morgan and Zach being targeted, it's like that was her. Riley going home, that was her impact. So honestly, like, you really woke me up to the fact that this game would have had a different experience if she wasn't here. And it's like, of course, but you kind of forget that because of the way she is. She's kind of, you know, relatable, I guess. So people are like, oh, she's not like Paul, she's not this dictator, but in a way she changed it. So
well,
I like
that's interesting. Once again, there's like the perception, because I feel like there was I felt like Paul was controlling things, but he hadn't won, so he wasn't like an icon, so he didn't have that gravitas and
the glossy
I was like, what? I don't know what's the word for entitlement when you actually do have some entitlement that you've earned. Like, I feel like she has entitlement that she's earned, so I don't know what the word is. I see what you're saying.
There's a word for it, but I don't know what it is either.
Yeah, like, I mean, and because it's more than confidence. Because I was like, is it confidence? I was like, it's more than that. But I definitely, I think that it was I think that air, you know, did add a layer to the game. Yeah, for sure, in multiple ways.
Okay, that's fair. So yeah, now recently on this episode, we just got done watching, and there was I want to ask your opinion on some of the things that Zingbot might have brought up. There's this whole soap opera situation going on with Morgan and Vince, and you know, their personal all of that. What do you think? I kind of want to ask you in the perspective of Big Brother. I was watching, I was like, y'all are messy. Y'all are messy as hell for having Zingbot like zing Morgan in that way. I'm like, what do you think in that perspective? Are you like, they should stay out of it, or it's fair game because they're doing it on the show? What's your opinion, I guess, on that?
I feel mixed, because I definitely feel a little bit protective of Morgan in the sense of, I don't like any scenario where she has the same weight on her for behavior as Vince. But at the same time, I also feel like I think Vince's reaction to I feel like something I've told people before is that, you know, the thing I've seen in Big Brother happens a lot, and didn't even necessarily happen to me specifically, is that people get in trouble for something that they said or did that they didn't. It's not the thing they thought. They thought like, oh, people are going to dislike this. But like the way that what I feel like I saw was a genuine, like, wait, like we've been very much, you know, following what would be acceptable behavior or not for people, given the context I have. So whenever people have asked me like on TikTok, like when I'm streaming, like about like Vince and Morgan, I'm like, I don't know I don't know his situation. I don't know him and his girlfriends. I don't know I'm like, I don't know their comfort. Like, I'm a very touchy-feely person. And also I feel like there is such an element of like, of hypocrisy in terms of people are so quick to like judge and hop on something like, oh, I wouldn't do this. It's like, well, no, you might, we don't know what you would do and wouldn't do because you haven't been in this scenario in this context. And especially when you look at the house where like people, like for me, I think about when I was in the house and I was single, but like I was like, I don't know who I didn't cuddle with. Like I cuddled with Big D, Xavier at one point, you know, everybody. It was just like you're deprived of affection. And so that can be big now. And so that's why I was like, when Vince is doing this, I don't know their situation. I don't know their comfort. I'm a very like unjealous person. So like for me, I don't really care. I'm like, hey, first off.
So if you was Kelsey and Vince was Vince and that was your man or your girl and you were in the house or they were in the house and they were doing similar things, do you feel like you would be okay with that? Or do you not know?
No, that's the problem is I would, but I recognize how like people don't feel the way I feel. I recognize that most people don't agree with how I feel. And I have been in situations of things that like people would be like, oh, this is uncomfortable. It's like I just have never been that person. But I just don't have that gene in me. And so I respect that other people do, but I think that it's unfortunate when that's not reciprocated. It's like, wait, like let other people can operate however they want to operate as long as they feel okay in that situation. So I can't speak for them.
Yeah, I understand that. I think that's valid, especially because you have I think it's also hard because you know what it's like being in Big Brother. And I think Kelsey doesn't, for example. So Kelsey doesn't necessarily understand I guess, depravity of the real world and how it's such a pressure cooker and all of these other things. And I feel like Vince is seeking comfort. And I don't think Kelsey will really understand that unless she plays the game herself. So I also think you're coming from a perspective of someone who's played before and you also understand that. So I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate that, but I also say, like, I don't know the like an element that I talk normally when I'm speaking about the game, I'll say like, hey, Big Brother isn't just, chess, it's also poker, because there's all this non-strategic, like inexplainable, like vibes, like feelings of why you make a decision. You might see somebody's tell, or you might read this, like as in a tell, like you might have a tell, like people might have a tell when they talk about poker. So I'm talking about nonverbal communication is what I'm trying to talk about. And so for me, it's like I got super close to SB. SB, I knew immediately. I was like, oh, there's no vibes here, remotely romantic. And that was before I even found out she had a girlfriend. So for me, it was like, this is a safe person, the same way Derek or Xavier or like anyone else, because I'm like, oh, this is someone where nothing's going to happen. And it's like, also what's funny too is I'm like, people also hyper focus in terms of they disproportionately count things. It's like, I don't know how many times people have interacted with other people in the house, but but my point was just like, I don't know if they felt that safety, because they're like, oh, okay, cool, there's nothing romantic here, so it's perfectly fine for us to do this. And maybe maybe that was the case, maybe it's not. I can't speak for them, but that's all I'm saying, is that I don't know. So because I don't know, that's all I'm going to say, versus people that decide that they know somebody else's situation.
Got you. Understood. And even with the SB situation with you, there were people who I guess felt similarly. Like when you're watching that, people feel, I guess, similarly about y'all's situation that they kind of do about Vincent Morgan, from what I remember. So I guess my question now is, I spoke on my last podcast about Morgan's perspective, and I said a part of me feels like Morgan genuinely does think this is a friendship. And you kind of like mentioned the same situation with SB. Do you feel like, from Morgan's perspective, you're saying you do, I guess, believe her? Because she said it in the diary room. She said in the diary room this episode, this was genuinely just my friend. This is just how I was. Do you feel like you understand where she's coming from that? Because I feel like a lot of people don't get it. So,
yeah. Well, not only do I understand where she's coming from, as far as like, this is my friend and like we're affectionate, but like it's not anything weird, is everything's heightened in the house. So like, whereas like you may, and you're craving like affection and you're craving comfort, it's a very unsettling place. So for me, it's like, there is you are in the most stressful, difficult situation of your life, and you find a sense of peace and safety and a hug. Like, hold the hug as long as you want. Like, that's good for your heart anyways. Like, I don't care. But like I said, people also get jealous. Like me and Taylor, like, obviously we were a couple for a time. She calls Joseph, they talk every single day, multiple times a day. Like that was the person she was just dating. And that was like, never even thought about an issue for me. Exactly. Like, and so many people would probably be uncomfortable with that, but like, it just didn't. I was like, I don't care. Like, what? Like, I'm pretty sure he stayed over at our place like once. Like, it was just not I just don't have that feeling. But I can imagine so many other people that would feel uncomfortable in some type of way. And then it's the person that's in the situation that's like, for me, I'm like, Taylor says that this is how she feels, and I know that, and so I didn't care. And that hasn't been just Taylor. That's been like anyone that I've just always felt like this. It's maybe a comfort. And like I said too, everyone has their own lines for what they consider
that's real,
respectful or not. But once again, that's why I say it's your unique situation. It's your perspective. So I'm gonna let you make your lines. You should let everyone else make their lines.
Period. I fuck with that. And I feel like it's just a trust thing. It's like every individual has their own individual relationship with whoever they're with, and there's different feelings. So honestly, I understand. Honestly, I feel like I kind of agree, like with you, more so than I guess other people, in the sense of like it's up to them. I feel like it's up to Kelsey. I feel like it's up to Vince. I feel like it's up to Morgan, and that they do what they do. So yeah, there was also, of course, the situation this week with Morgan convincing Vince to put up Lauren. Child. Now, this season, you mentioned it earlier. This season has been crazy with the gameplay. Allies have been putting up allies, and this week it's Vince putting up Lauren. What do you think of that? What do you think of the season in general? Because Mickey put up Jimmy, Lauren put up Adrian, he done put up Lauren. What are your thoughts?
Well, because I want Morgan to win more than Vince, I'm like happy that it happened, because I'm like, ooh, yes, this really solidifies you, because Vince has a lot of influence in the house, and that could be a very strong case for his game. This is a trump card that Morgan has over, like, remember when I made Vince do this? Like, this is a big deal. And also, you know, does that probably lock in, you know, if let's say Lauren goes home, Lauren probably wouldn't vote for Vince. So I see a lot of ways that it helps her. I think if anything, I'm just more amazed at like the way that Lauren is talking to Vince. Like, I just don't understand why you would put like your number one, you know, your final two on the block. And I was like, yes, Lauren, ask that question again out loud to yourself, please. Like, yes, this is a great question, because even all this talk afterwards about the Judges Alliance, ever since Vince picked Lauren in that hamster game, the wheel, before picking anyone from his alliance, I was like, why were you guys even talking about this alliance with Vince, like in a serious way? Like, they still talk about it in a serious way. And I'm like, you guys, that's why I'm like, the questionable gameplay goes across the board, unfortunately. But at least like I'm seeing, but I know, you know, and of course we're gonna make excuses for the people that we're cheering for. So I know Morgan is like rationalizing this because she's like, oh, I really rock with Vince. So I'm like giving her a pass where I'm not giving, you know, Will and Ashley the same pass. And I'm aware of that bias. And I think that's what I like to say separates me from like other the toxic part of the Big Brother fandom is that people tend to not realize that who you're rooting for or who you're rooting against influences how you see people and how you judge moves. Like, the two people who do the same move, if you like them, it's strategic. If you don't like them, it's snaky. So I try and look out for that for myself and at least call it out. Why? Because I'm happy that it happened, and because it moves Morgan up in her odds to win, you know. So
no, that's right. I'm rooting for Morgan too, so I'll fuck with that. All right, Kyland, let's get into our first segment, because I do want to talk about Big Brother players, Amazing Race players, Big Brother players who have played Amazing Race, etc., etc. I have some videos, so I'm going to play a video, and we're going to talk about whatever is there. Okay, yeah, I'm excited. All right, so the first one is, you actually know these people well, honey. Let's see. Oh my
God. Feel the emotions
23 days, 8 countries, 16 cities. Derek and Claire, I am pleased to tell you that you are the official winners of the Amazing Race. Congratulations.
All right,
Team
DX
Purple.
DX and Team Purple. Y'all are also Team Purple, right?
Yes.
DX and Claire won the Amazing Race 34. It was like the season after BB23 or something, like it was very close to
it was right after Challenge USA. Like, I think he finished Challenge USA and immediately left.
Oh, he was booked and busy. So you know DX and Claire. You were aware of this experience. How was that from a friend perspective to see that?
Oh my God. It was such a cool, like, it was just fun. And also I just love them so much. Like, DX like is the first person I saw from my cast. So I always just had a really close, I literally just saw him a couple weeks ago. We were hanging out. We went out to Vegas and we're doing some content and hanging out. And it was just he's like watching them win. I remember I was like, I feel it in me too. Like when I with them, they did a finale party in Miami. And it was just such a fun experience to you know, to see them. Yeah, I mean, I'm somebody that really likes seeing my people win. Their wins feel like my wins. And I think that it was just so Cool. And you know what's crazy is I remember when they won, I was like, well, there go my chances at ever doing the Amazing Race because Big Brother people from my season play and win. So they'll probably they probably won't have Big Brother people again for another decade is what I thought.
I feel like if anything, it should have made them want to have you. Well, I mean, shit. There's a full Big Brother season, so maybe it did. Maybe it did encourage them to.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. I was worried incorrectly.
Did they give you any tips? Did they give you any tricks?
Oh gosh, I mean, I feel like I had all of my Big Brother debrief from Derek and Claire like immediately after their season. I feel like I dissected it all while I was watching it. They did their YouTube videos, so it was really just and also they had such a different, like, I feel like I don't know how much I could have asked them because they had such a different experience with their they were a COVID season, so they were self-driving the whole time, private flights the whole time. So very different experience, but
that's true.
But I mean, they're also just so capable. Like I was just like, I can't imagine the team that could beat them when I first heard they were doing it. I was like, who's gonna have that combination of skills? And so it felt expected to me.
Yes. All right. We have some more Big Brother players from the Amazing Race. Someone who was on this season. Let's watch this one.
On the Amazing Race, a Big Brother alliance was formed.
No U-turn.
No, bro, we didn't tell you to U-turn them. Dude, this isn't real. Okay, Rachel, you just have to take people at face value. If they're lying to us, then that's on them. But you have to, whatever. That's what you're telling us. We have to believe it. Nicole, your brand is watching. Just remember that.
Wow.
Oh my God. Rachel gets down. Rachel gets down and dirty.
I know.
Now, I think the Amazing Race having Rachel on. Rachel was on Amazing Race 3 times, I believe. And that was her 3rd time. She was arguing with Nicole.
And then
Janelle was arguing with Nicole. It was a lot going on. Have you seen that season? Do you know any of those people?
Of course. Yeah, I haven't met Nicole or Victor still. But both of the Riley sisters for sure.
Okay, that's awesome. Were you rooting for Rachel when she went into the season, or y'all not that close?
No, I watched. Wait, in Big Brother or the Amazing Race?
Both.
So the Amazing Race, I started really. I hadn't seen it since I was a kid, so I was really deep diving. So all the more recent seasons, I only saw while preparing for my season. So that was all post having really met anybody, or post. Sorry, all the seasons were already recorded. Nothing was live. So, and I would always look up the outcome beforehand just to see, like, I like to see who to focus on when I watch.
Do you do that? Like, do you do that with everything?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, all of the shows.
I can do that.
Not like spoilers if it hasn't come out yet, but if it has come out, like if I'm backdating, I'm like, yeah, let me take notes and watch them this, like, because if it's a show I'm trying to do, like,
okay, that makes sense.
Big Brother, Race, like those ones, like I'm not watching, Trader, or well, maybe now, but but yeah, I think that anything I'm just watching casually, like without intention of playing, I don't do that. But but yeah, so that was a wild season for sure, and they said that I feel like I heard that was like one of the more competitive seasons because of the different skill sets they brought in.
I heard that as well. Okay, I have to shout out this OG. This is the first ever Big Brother player to play Amazing Race. This is my queen. Let's watch this video.
And Donnie, dating off and on for 3 years from Pennsylvania.
I was on Big Brother, and I came in 2nd place, and I did a lot of bad things. Donnie
is fine. My God.
And he saw me kiss another guy, and we got in a lot of fights about it.
Alice and I fight a lot. We break up a lot. We quarrel a lot. You know, we do all those things that would tear us apart, but for some reason we stay together.
This is horrible. That was when Amazing Race was ready to be toxic. They were getting couples who were barely together, baby. Yes, barely holding on. Love Allison Irwin. I've never seen that Amazing Race season. I just knew she was on it, but
yes, I watched it.
She flopped, didn't she? She did bad.
I feel like they did. I don't remember them I remember that opening, but I don't remember how they did. So it makes me think that they may have not done well.
Yeah, Big Brother players used to not really win the Amazing Race because it was them. They didn't win. Jeff and Jordan didn't win. Rachel didn't win any of her seasons. It wasn't until I think Jessica and Cody, they went on, and then that's when it's like, okay, the Big Brother girls are here. Okay, last one. This is the opposite of what we've been looking at. Amazing Race players who played Big Brother.
I am taking over Big Brother this week. That's why I'm here.
Come on,
I
Phil.
thought it was only fair that I return the favor by putting 2 amazing race contestants in the house to play the Big Brother game. That's them right now. They're at the door.
I didn't even remember this happened.
You didn't even
Genuinely.
remember that?
I did not
Bro,
even remember that happened.
It's the only time, because I remembered it because Big Brother hates. I don't know if they hate. I don't think that's true. I think other people from other CBS shows do not want to play Big Brother. It's only been them.
Yeah, usually people don't, because
And Serene.
yeah,
That's
and
it.
they are right to not want to.
So yeah, they play Big Brother. Do you think there's in your mind there's any Amazing Race players you think you would be like, I would want to see you on Big Brother, or maybe even, I don't know, Survivor players, the challenge players even? Who do you want to see on Big Brother that's played other reality shows, if you haven't?
I would love to see a Wes Bergman play Big Brother season. I think that would be funny. I think that because also he I feel like he would want to stay and play and be competitive in the game, and he's, I feel like, not as whiny as like a Johnny Bananas, who, like, to be clear, for his credit, he uses it as a strategy. So, and it works on people all the time. But it is, but I feel like he also, I think Wes would go in believing fully he could win and trying his best, and Bananas would go in assuming that there's no shot of him winning. So just trying to cause as much chaos as he could, which to me isn't as fun to watch. Like, it's funny, but it's not. I like to watch the game play more, and not to say he's not competitive, but I think that he rightfully so would expect them to kick him out, and more so. So that's somebody who stands out.
What about a lady from the team?
I was gonna say, I could imagine like a John A.
Interesting.
He got a little bit like
good
paranoid in 40 at one point, but in general, like, because even people that were playing with her were like, this is out of character. She normally doesn't get paranoid like this. And in general, she's just very like likable and fun. And so I could imagine her doing really well, or at least being fun to watch. And then also I think about, I mean, honestly, a Michelle, I think would.
Oh, Michelle is so good at this.
Michelle, it wouldn't be good for her mentally to be in this space for that long. And she has said this. But if she were in the space, she is good.
Would she give Vanessa Morgan cracked queen, you feel? Or would she give?
I mean, it depends. I don't see her going into like the. So I think of Vanessa. Vanessa's like as strategic as Michelle, or maybe even more strategic. I don't know, but Michelle's also very like friendly. Like she comes off friendly. She comes off warm. And I haven't met Vanessa in person, but when I watched her, I got more of like almost like a tomboyish vibe that was like a little bit more edgy and like not warm necessarily. And I could be wrong. I haven't met her, but just from view. And I think Vanessa's like one of my favorite players. But just I don't get that vibe. And Michelle's actually really good at giving like a very warm vibe, energy to people, and that I think would play well. So I think those are ones that stand out on from the challenge survivor space, I guess.
What about Amazing Race? Do you know? Have you met like any other Amazing Racers in person yet?
I've met very few overall. Yeah, like and like Amazing Race, I feel like when I watch it, I don't really get enough to like gauge them for. I think it's easy to watch the Amazing Race and like gauge them. And the others probably would be cool in the challenge. I think it's harder to watch them engaged for the race, or for the Big Brother. That being said, James Wallington, I know would love to play Big Brother. And
yes.
He I don't know. I feel like I've played Mafia with him, and he could be good.
He gets down. I like him. Okay, let's answer some questions, Kyland. Some of the girls, child, I hope they're appropriate. Nah, I've viewed them, but some of the girls ask you some questions. Let's read what they gotta say. Shout out to Survivor Spaces. Survivor Spaces says, "What's the process like when it comes to decompressing after leaving the BB house? Do you ever find yourself wanting to reconnect with who you were before the game? Is that still possible?" Okay, great question.
Ooh, I love this. Yeah, great question for sure. I think the one thing I remember is having a phone call with Tyler after Big Brother. And I remember I was trying to decompress. I was like at the beach. I was talking to him on the phone. maybe a week after, and he's like, yo, yeah, it's crazy. He's like, honestly, I think I'm still decompressing from my season. And I don't mean All Stars. I mean my first season, which was 18. And we were season 23, or sorry, 20.
Yeah, he was
for
20.
season 23. So it had been some time. And I didn't get it when he said it, but I certainly get it now. Like I said, this is the first season I've watched. Like I was like, no, he's right. Yeah, it does take that long. Like, especially if you're in there for a while. And it is so the decompressing is like different stages. I think it's stages of like being like, yeah, like we all need therapy. This is crazy. And then, a year passes, you're like, oh, wait. I definitely, yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh no, for real, I do. And then you are and you're adjusting to, like, for I think all of us besides Brittany D'Angelo, like we didn't have like social media following, so you're adjusting to that part of it, which is for us, it's so overnight too. It's not like it's overnight for us while it's not for others. So I feel like even when I've talked to friends that have like gone viral and they have like their life upended, but they're still there for all of it. Whereas like people are building a relationship, a parasocial relationship with us for so long, and we just have no idea because we are, and then we come out and they've already engaged with our account. They've already like, engaged the account. They've connected with us and we have not connected with them before. And we're still adjusting to coming out of the house. So like the decompressing process after is just like something where you got to be patient and you have to be aware. And you also have to be aware that you may not have the full scope of how much decompression you need and how much healing you need, because it's like therapy for anything else. Like you think you're good, but then you might go a little bit deeper. Something might trigger something later, a response. So I feel like it was adjusting to real life takes a second, but then you get used to it. And then it's more all these other factors that come into play where you're like, okay, let me, I really like this question about reconnecting with who you were before the game. And is it even possible? I would say it's not possible. I think that you can't, it doesn't mean you are an entirely different person, but you've had a new experience that you don't come back from like the same way, like in the exact same way. So I feel like that's and that's not, so many growth, so many amazing things too, but it's not the same.
I want to touch on the parasocial relationship part that you mentioned. What would you say is how would you analyze your personal responsibility in the terms of that? Or I guess, how did you feel any responsibility when it came to other people having this admiration for you and this parasocial relationship? And if so, do you feel like that was the right approach, or what approach would you change about that? I don't know if that question was.
I guess, what do you mean by the accountability? I just
want like responsibility. Like, did you feel like, damn, this person really cares about me, this person really likes me, these fans? Did you feel responsible for, I guess, for lack of better words, your fans or your supporters? Or did you kind of immediately be like, I mean, girl, these are random people,
I definitely haven't ever felt like these are random people in terms of like, who cares? Because I feel like that to me lacks of gratitude. Like whenever I meet somebody out, I was just at Disneyland yesterday. Wow. And people are always like afraid to bother me or something. And I'm just always like, no, this is no bother. Like, first off, the ability to improve someone's day by existing is my light almost fell. Like, the ability to improve someone's day just by existing is so amazing. Like, it feels like such an incredible privilege. And so I love that. Like, it's like, oh, I can just, we take a picture and we say hi, we talk. That's amazing. And I'll usually tell them too. I'll be like, hey, like, if you ever see somebody else from Big Brother, or really The Challenge, or any reality TV person that I know, go up and ask them, because for if you want to take a picture, and if they feel bothered, then blame it on me. Say Kyland told me to. because I'm just like, how special it is that we get this opportunity, and we're not at the level of like, I can understand if you were at the level of like a real LeBron James or somebody
Right.
like a Ariana Grande, and like you don't have it's impossible to find peace. Like that's another
Mm-hmm.
level. Or not that level. Like you may have to encounter some people here and there, and so that's why I'm like, you should have the patience for it. And obviously, if you have some life situation going on, then that's okay. But and they don't have to feel this way. But I personally feel like they should feel some sense of that. And then as far as like the other side of it, which wasn't exactly what you were talking about, but it came to mind, I think you could appreciate, as a minority, you also feel a level of responsibility in representation that like no one else, that people may not feel by default if they're not part of any sort of minority group. And because it's more meaningful to us. And so I think that's something that is at play for sure.
That's real. All right, let's see what else they asked. Shout out to Noah. Noah says, "Hey, King Kyland." You know him?
I'm on TikTok.
Girl, that's your biggest friend. She was in the comments. They were in the comments asking all the questions. And I said, "Oh, this Kyland got shooters." You had the most shooters asking questions. They was like, "Just tell Kyland I love him. Just tell Kyland that's my." Like I was like, "Damn, oh my God!" Like Kyland, everybody loves you. All right. Hey, King Kyland, question for you is, what season of The Challenge and Big Brother would you want to be on besides the season you did for those shows? Okay, let's do The Challenge first. Is there a season of The Challenge you would have done? Maybe even a theme. They have great
teams. I do kind of like War of the Worlds one.
The bunker one? Were they within the bunker? Oh, okay.
No, that's Total Madness. I actually do like that one too. Total Madness is another one. So Total Madness is one of them, but I like War of the Worlds because I heard it was like the most grueling final besides the one in 40, and I think that would be kind of cool. But you know what? Actually, let me take that back because I don't like challenges with one winner, male or female. I'm not about that. Like I'm
what
all
you
about.
Mean?
No, I like first place woman, first place man.
Okay, got you. Not just one.
I like both, not just one.
Got you.
For the whole season.
Okay.
I think that's I'm obviously in favor of equality and on so many things, but in this in physical competitions, I think that they should have both winners. Otherwise, we end up with like Nerys getting robbed, and so many others too unfairly. So. Let me take that out of War of Worlds, but I don't know. It might be Total Madness or, actually, War of Worlds 2 is also a fun one. But if I go backwards, and Free Agents seemed like such a Free Agents. I might go Free Agents. But that's also might just because I want to be there for like some of the the Jordan and Johnny elimination, or I don't know. There's a lot of different things I've seen.
That's real. Is it cool watching the eliminations in person? Does that heighten anything? Okay.
No, it's like TV. It's like you get to watch. And you have so much down like waiting, but when you watch it, it's like you're getting to watch like a fight live. Like
no, that's
not a fight. Like whatever it is, eliminations, are entertainment to watch for sure.
Okay, and then Big Brother, which season would you do other than 23?
Probably this one. Shoot.
Oh my God.
I mean, why not take the
Kyland said I would have washed these hoes. Okay. This one's a boring answer. What's another answer you got?
Well, I was like, for the same reason, I was like 25, like not 25 in the sense of like against Jag. I think Jag, obviously amazing competitor, but that's why I want to compete with Jag in that game, because I'm like, I don't know if you were winning this many competitions if we had competition here.
Exactly.
And I will say that was one thing I remember. I really wanted to meet Jag because I was like, I wanted to size him up, and I met him, and he was like pretty ice cold. Like he is. We played like game nights and stuff. Yeah. And I'm like,
and he was on the Amazing Race.
Good. Yeah. And he sure is on the Amazing Race. And so
that's right.
I was really excited. I love to compete, so I was like, okay, we got Jag here, we got Tucker here, we got some folks I really hope I get an opportunity to compete alongside them in something head-to-head at some point.
Yep. All right. WWE.
But seasons. Oh shoot.
What else? I mean, you said a few.
Yeah.
What
shoot.
else?
Those were just for competition's sake.
Oh, okay.
Well, 25 is for competition's sake. 27 is a whole different reason.
What
Just to
about
get this-
pre-new era?
I know probably. I mean, I think 16. Well, you have the returners though in 16. Not 16,
not
18.
18 is
18
fine.
had the returners, but I thought it was fun, and they had the multiple battle backs. I don't know. I enjoyed some of that.
Okay.
Yeah, I have different reasons for different seasons. So these are kind of my off the cuff answers, but if I think about it and something better comes, I'll let you know.
Okay. Those are good answers though. All right, WWE fan. What are your thoughts on this season of the challenge? Are you watching the challenge 41?
I am. I'm behind though. I'm only on episode like 4 or 5. I'm enjoying it a lot. I think that it basically is what happens when, people, as they've always said, it's like usually the vets will just play the rookies out of the game really quick. And every time people are watching, like, why are they letting them do this? What if they don't let them do this? And I think a couple of things are at play here. I think one is that they have rookies there deciding, hey, we're not going to let this happen.
Yeah.
But then also, as far as the vets go, they like brought an interesting selection of vets as far as like if they like the set of they brought in strong rookies, and I don't think they necessarily brought in strong vets as a whole. Like
I agree.
And so like I said, I think the bigger factor though is we've seen vets that probably may not have been able to compete as well as some of the rookies, but they were able to at least manipulate the rookies, and these ones aren't doing that. So I'm enjoying it, and I see why I wasn't there. So I was, because they told me beforehand. They're like, hey, like, you don't match the theme. And then later on it was elaborated like, okay, like, we just want people that have relationships with the vets for our vets. And I'm like, okay, I get it, because I for sure would not have been working with the vets like if I was there. So I was like, I got it. Yes, you were right.
All right, let's see who else we got. Shout out to Stan on the beach, period. Hey twin.
Kyne. Yeah, Kyne, I know him too.
You know him too? Where he from? TikTok?
No, I've met him at events. Yeah, his name's Kyne, and
that's right.
I like to meet people. And
y'all walk up to Kyland. Say hi. Be nice. Be kind. I know that's right. All right. Hey, twin. Being neurodivergent, how does it feel being representation for people with ADHD and autism? You know what? Before you answer, when I watched you on BB23, I was like, oh, shout out to the neurodivergent kings, because me as well. Like, I have ADHD. I had recently got diagnosed. So seeing you, I was like, okay, come on, King. He's gonna be in there changing the subject every 5 seconds. All right, but no, seriously. It's a good question. How does it feel? Does it, because you talked about coming out, representing minority groups, stuff like that.
And I think that it is something that I don't take lightly. I mean, I'm literally here. I'm in San Francisco right now. I just spoke. There's an organization called the Sojourn Project. It's the longest running civil rights education organization in the country. So like, approved by Congress, and John Lewis, when he was alive, was a big advocate and recognized by the Obamas, and like so many things. And there's so much weight to it. And so I think that for me, it was just kind of like, oh, like, what you're doing matters. Like, even if it's just something like on, a silly reality TV show, like it can impact someone's life as far as like inspiring them to do something more. And and today I was at like a school. I spoke at a school, and it was a class, auditorium of like 50 like neurodivergent kids. And it was a powerful experience, because they were saying this exact thing about like how much they appreciate the representation. And so I feel honored once again and privileged to be able to do it. But then I also feel like I try and be very aware of like everyone's going to have their own unique struggle. And I want to, I try and watch, I am cautious of like the language I use in terms of like making sure that, I single out like, this is my individual experience. This is how these symptoms show up for me. They may be showing up for someone else differently. And I want to, acknowledge those different challenges that people might have. So I feel grateful, and it's just something that I hold with a lot of respect. And I think it's important, and I appreciate getting to do it.
That's wonderful. Do you like seek out places to go and speak, or do people offer for you to come because they have heard about it? Or
Yeah, so a little bit of both.
Mhm.
But it was much more passive, and now I've recently like been a lot more inspired to do more. And so this organization is something I'm gonna lock in really tight with and do more with. But then I also just did a talk for some employee resource groups for like a Black, a Latin, and neurodivergent employee resource group that this tech company had, and
nice.
did a speech with them. And so like I'm like, you know what, and I have another organization that reached out. So like I want to,
Mhm.
I'm starting to seek it out now. Before it was just kind of like in
Yeah.
conversation, it may come up, but now like this is something I'm excited to do more of for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. Shout out to Easy. Easy says, without live feeds, we need to know how these challenger vets are IRL versus how they're edited on the show. Do you have any experiences from your challenge seasons where you're like, you are nothing like how you were on TV? Or anything that stands out?
No, I feel like I have the opposite. I think that what I tell people is that like, these people don't act dramatic because they're on TV. They're on TV because they are dramatic. This is how they are. The cameras are off. I'm with them. This is how they are. You see a heightened sense of some things because of the stakes involved in the situation. So
Okay.
it's like, if they're just out in their day-to-day life, like they have no reason to be as angry or as upset or as whatever. Whereas like, if they are versus each other in a high stakes situation, you now have a reason to get extra heated. So they're already dramatic, wild people, but then you add in this element of competition and stakes, and then things escalate. But
That's real.
but this is just how they are. I'm like, no one's sitting on my head as far as right now who's like super different. Because for the most part, they are just
like that.
Yeah,
That's kind of scarier.
But like I said, it's the stakes, it's the situation though too.
That's real.
Because they are not, they
It's
are
not
actually
normal.
working against each other. Yeah, it's a very abnormal situation. Also, so that's a factor.
All right. Shout out to Lee from the Reality Kingdom. Come on, Kings, my co-host. If given the chance to play again, what are some adjustments you would make to your game? Also, did any of your BB experience help you on the challenge or the Amazing Race? Great question. Okay, answer the first one. What adjustments would you make?
I would have won that last veto in HOH.
Oh, that's not a good answer, because you can't control whether you win or lose something. So I feel like that's why I can't accept that answer.
I lost. I controlled that loss.
You did not control that loss.
I made myself. No, I'm saying in the veto and the I could have played them differently and not lost.
But this is what I mean. A competition, I don't think you can answer it that way. You think you can fairly answer it that way?
I think I can, but if I was to make another adjustment, it would just be to I think maybe, I don't know. Yeah. Well, okay. You know what? I would say it's the new rule that I said for me, as far as like when I go into those other games, I'm like, I want to compete against the best, but I would never help them get there.
Okay.
And so that's, I think my adjustment is just like how I play the game in a way that like, am I not choosing to help, people move forward in the game, my competition. And then I think that is a way that Big Brother helped me on the challenge and the Amazing Race. But I think it also was like, I think that more than that though, I think Big Brother was something I watched and I was like, I think I could be good at this game. And then I got to play and I was pretty good at the game. So I was like, oh, I think that reinforced like a confidence that I was able to bring into the other shows, where I'm like, you know what, if you study and you prepare, and for me, this is what I need, because obviously other people have taken very different paths and been even more successful on Big Brother and the challenge. So, but for me, I was like, if I study this and I prep according to that study, then I will probably be able to do well. And that's what I've seen happen. And so that's, my hopes, what I can bring into the race as well. And yeah, I think that's the, and then just awareness of how I'm interacting with people is an ongoing thing for this and for life.
That's fair. Okay, we got 2 more questions. Let's see. Shout out to not Resurrect Rachel Riley. Shout out to Star Child. Question: who are some reality TV personalities, Big Brother or non-Big Brother, you would like to see compete on a Big Brother season? We kind of did that. And would you have any interest in returning a second time? Technically,
I feel
that's
like we did that.
We kind of did both of these. Come on, questions. You stole them out of my brain and asked them before we started. All right. And then last one we got. Shout out to Felicia's fourth mic. Question: during Big Brother 23, you talked about how some players benefit from unearned likability. I know that term is haunting you for the rest of your life. What are some good strategies to work around this type of bias for other players?
I actually don't know what you're talking about. I didn't know people. It hasn't haunted
You
me
never
at all.
heard people bring that up to you? The unearned likability thing?
Not really. I feel like I think that what I would change is maybe natural likability. I think unearned made it have a bad tint. And I think that because I remember I was talking about Xavier and I've talked to him about it. We've talked about it since. And I just remember I was like, yeah, like that was probably the wrong verbiage in the sense of like unearned versus natural. And and then now I know how much that I also have learned so much more about why that stood out to me so much post-diagnosis is because people. So human beings, one thing I explain about like neurodivergence, especially for the autism spectrum, is that neurotypical people and you know, in general, a lot of non-autistic people, they learn about human interaction through osmosis, which is the process of like just basically by being around it. They're around other people and you naturally are picking up how to interact with other people to make them comfortable, like you or whatever. Whereas like neurodivergent people, especially on the autism spectrum, don't learn that way. You learn through like a direct trial and error. You learn through intense observation, notes, etc. So for me, it was always like people have felt like comfortable and likable around me. And like, I really like people. I don't naturally know, other than smiling, because I just like, that is probably natural to me. I don't know. I feel like I am very conscious of of so many aspects of how I interact with people when I'm around them, and to the point where like that actually, you know, was something that that's why I started talking more about like my just being autistic, is because I remember people would think like I was being inauthentic, and I'm like, well, I guess I am inauthentic because I'm acting these ways not natural to me
consciously,
but I'm doing it because I feel this positive thing towards you or whatever it is I feel that I've learned. I'm like, okay, when you like somebody or when you want them to know you care, this is how you act. So that's what I'm doing, because it may not be natural to me. And so I think that that's what I would change, is I think unearned likability makes it sound like a negative rather than like an observation of like just natural likability. And then also like, you know, there's so many other things that people will benefit from that come into play, like unconscious bias and all these things. So yeah, I think that's the correction, I guess. But what are some good strategies to work around this type of bias for other players? I mean, I think it was
Well, no, because I feel like, at least for me, it could be because I'm also neurodivergent. I honestly, I don't even have a problem with the term. Like, I honestly don't even mind that you used the term in ways, because I feel like it's valid. Like, I think even the perspective the question is being asked, it's more so a lot of people agree that there are people who, and I think it's just bias. Maybe we should just say bias instead of the exact term. But I think a lot of people agree that in the game of Big Brother, there are people who have a natural bias to their personality or their archetype, and it helps them in the game because of that. We see it with a lot of, you know, men or white men or attractive men. So from that perspective, it's like, I guess what I understood from what they're asking, you know, what are some good strategies to work around this type of bias for other players who don't fit into socially? Like, how would you play the game against that? I guess how do you play Big Brother working against all of these biases? Like, if I guess you're not a woman, but you know, if you're a woman, how do you work against males? Or if you're Black, how do you work against white people? You know, do you have any?
No, I really feel like for Big Brother or in general, or like this, I think that it would really come down to communicating with people. I think that communicating like I feel like there's an advantage to communicating your how you operate differently. And maybe, and honestly, what I would say, what I would do actually, because I would be, I can understand the fear of like, even like Brittany, like not talking about her diagnosis, like her already knowing when she was out, not talking about it and not wanting it to be how people judge her. And also, which was a smart choice, because in that house, people also tend to, like I said, they look for a reason. So that people could easily have interpreted it as like, oh, well, she's using that like as an excuse, or she's using that as like or like using it for some negative purpose in the game is what somebody could paint it. So instead, what I would do is I would talk about, but more in terms of like maybe just tell like about like, oh, in my life, what I realize is that, and I've even said this to like in the challenge at times, I've been like, hey, by the way, like in some one-on-one conversations with some people, I'm like, I'm really I can say like something really honest sometimes that is really not honest, because I think that because truth is subjective, and that's a whole different conversation. So people often use honest as a phrase to like be mean, and I don't want to misconstrue that or give anybody permission to do that.
That's fair.
Because they'll say honest and then they just say their opinion, and it's just like, okay, well, that's just like, that is your honest opinion, it's not an honest truth. And but anyways, I'll add on that, because I'm gonna use this. People will often say, oh, I just tell it like it is. I'm like, no, you tell it how you see it, and that's okay to do, but you have to, but those are different, those aren't the same thing. So anyways, so for people in the house, I think it would just be more about being like I don't know, every advice that I'm thinking of in Big Brother, there's a reason that it might not work, because people who are in there are they're looking for a reason. That's the thing. That's in the game, looking for a reason to attack these people, to not feel bad about why you do something. So what I say as far as like interacting is just being able, I feel like you really have to focus on your game moves. For me, when I was looking at a final two speech, I was very much thinking about like, okay, I'm not more likable than any of the six of us in the cookout, but I am, especially not to the people in the house, but I can articulate specifically a move. I could say how I'm the only person in the cookout who the person I wanted to go home win every time, and obviously until my eviction. So every time I could point at, this is a week where this person wanted something to happen and it didn't happen, but it did happen for me. This week, like, so I think that's how I would navigate it, is like being able to articulate the parts that aren't social as specifically as possible.
Yeah. And I kind of take that as like being as aware of the way you played the game and yourself as possible. Like that's kind of how I'm perceiving that. Like if you're understanding what your perspective was and what your strengths were in the game, then you can use that to your advantage in your speech, something like that. So that's how I'm taking that as well. That's good advice. I like that. All right, last little thing. I want to play a little game. Okay.
All right, let's do it.
Game. Let me pull it up. All right, this game I called it Off the Races. Okay. I played this same game with Taylor Hell. I switched up some of the questions here and there, but of course we have these iconic, amazing race terms, events that we use, and underneath them I have questions that are going to be pertaining to the Big Brother 27 house and Houseguests. That'll kind of be related to these topics, right? So I'll ask you to choose one. It'll reveal the question, and then you'll have to answer it. No, that's right.
Roadblock.
All right, we'll go through them all. Starting with Roadblock, it says, choose.
Okay.
We're gonna do them all, but we're gonna quickly choose.
I got it. I'm ready.
One Big Brother 27 player that you would bet on winning if they played again. So someone in the season, they get a second chance to play, maybe a fourth, Rachel Riley. Who would you bet on to win the game? Maybe you don't choose Rachel. Who would you bet on to win if they played another season?
Ashley.
Really? And why?
Because I think that, or actually,
That was a good answer. Wait.
yeah, okay. I was gonna say maybe Lauren, but I think that both of them basically. One thing that stood out to me is Hannah Chada. I remember telling me that like she felt age was a detriment. Like she's like I think that having more life experience would be helpful. And so I think of Ashley. I'm like, okay, she's smart. She's playing this Elwoods thing, but she's not necessarily making moves. So if she comes back, I think not only does she have the experience of being in the house and being as smart as she is, I think, and nobody would count her as dumb, but I feel like she would probably end up being very likable and being able to use her lawyer skills to sway people in the house. Yeah, so she's someone I see, and then I think Lauren is another person that would benefit from having more confidence and then being able to make her own decisions in the game. And so yeah, but
I actually agree with that. I like that answer. All right, next category. What you want to choose?
Then U-turn.
U-turn.
Mm-hmm.
U-turn. I'm sorry. You turn one player
of the remaining players.
Out of the remaining players, who do you want to get the fuck out of that house? Nicely, of course. There's a right answer, I believe.
No, well, hold on. I'm trying to think of. You know what? I almost feel like. I almost wonder though if it is this. Not who I want. That's the thing. I'm thinking of game. What impacts the game?
Okay.
And that's right now, I think that the least things change if Ashley was out of the game right now. I think the least things change. Okay, I don't want her out of the game. She's the only people I'll be okay with. Like,
who do you want out of the game?
Winning. Who do I want out of the game?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay. Maybe Ava. That little pun thing. I was like, I don't need more of this.
Oh my God. Is it not giving performative? And I'm sorry.
But yeah, nothing against her. I'm sure she's sweet, but I don't know her. So it's nothing against her as a person, but I just was like, I don't need that.
That's real. All right. What's the next
express pass? I'm going counterclockwise.
I like that. Which player would you let fast forward 1 week in the game so they could skip a week? I guess skip the double. Who would you let skip the double?
Morgan.
You want her to win? Bad. You're so real.
Yeah, I do.
You're so real.
Of the people here, like truly.
Yeah.
Hey, if it was last week, I'd probably say Will. But right now,
yeah, it got to be Morgan.
Will just for funsies.
All right, you going detour next? You said.
Yeah.
All right. Spin the wheel twice. Choose one of the players you land on and tell me how you would fix their game. I'm gonna pull up the wheel. Don't worry.
Why are we spinning it twice?
Because you have to choose one of the people it lands on. So it's gonna land on two people.
Oh, got it.
That's the whole detour. I was trying to.
No, I get you.
Oh, okay, boom. Oh God. So you're gonna either have to fix Kelly's game or it needs to stop. Hurry up.
Okay.
Or damn, that's a hard one. Oh well, there ain't no fixing hers. Morgan, you know who you got to choose.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta choose Morgan, but I feel like she just did it this episode. This episode, she fixed it. She's like, nah, I'm gonna luck Vince.
That was nasty.
I think that she really was like, I need to whip Vince into shape, and she did that. And that was my biggest concern for Morgan the last couple weeks has been like, I feel like you're too caught up in like Vince is too influential in your game, and she did the opposite today. And I was like, which maybe she did it, to isolate him, and maybe that will ingrain her more. As long as she is thinking beyond Vince, that's my only thing. Are you thinking beyond Vince? He's your number one ally. I get it. Are you thinking beyond him at all times?
Mm-hmm. And a part of me is like, this move does it, but a part of me is also like, does it so that you can have him to your.
That's what I'm worried about. I'm like, do you do this? And you're like, okay, I'm good now.
Yeah.
Can't get caught up in that.
All right, last one. Pit stop. Who is winning? Well, Big Brother 27 and why? Okay, I guess why? Why would you, if you were in the jury, I'm assuming you would vote for Morgan to win.
At this point, yeah. Like, there's no one she's gonna sit next to. I'm not gonna vote her for.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that I feel like Morgan has shown that she can campaign, and I think at the end of the day, that's probably the most important part of the game: is can you persuade people to do what you want them to do? And we saw her early on. I forget who she was campaigning, but there was one night where she was grinding people down, and she got the whole house to flip to whatever it was that she wanted. I don't remember what it was. And then this time she has this HOH flipped, and she's been a part of so many key decisions and moments. And so yeah, I think that, and I have a feeling she can probably articulate all those. And like I said, as long as what we were just worried, our shared concern about this Vince and Lauren situation isn't what happens, and she stays sharp and stays focused, then she will have the strong case. I mean, yeah, that's the. And if not her, then it probably is gonna be Vince, but I'd rather Keanu. And yeah, other people are left, and I'd be okay with Ashley because I just want to see her do a move now, because I like that she was intentional with Elwood's thing. Because until I heard about that, I was very judgmental. I was like, she's like not that impressive. But then I was like, oh, she's doing that on purpose, and I was like, bravo. But now you have to actually do something else. And so those are
All right, Kyland, before we wrap up, the last thing I make every guest do on the after show, child. We have a ranking. We have 7 house guests yet left. It's going to be a speed rank. You just have to put them in the category you feel like they fit for the last 7 players. There's mother, camp. You know what camp is?
Yeah.
Okay. Mid, child. Child is like child. Kaya Asylum. Kaya Asylum means I don't know who you are. You are irrelevant to me and everything that exists. And Chop is a chop. All right.
And Chop is
a chop. You got to go.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Hold on. I was like, who's in the house? Who's in the house?
I'm pulling up one by one. I'm gonna pull up one by one.
Oh, okay.
Okay, first one is Ava. Where would you put her?
Child.
All right, Morgan. Morgod.
She has to go mother of who's left. Yeah.
Amen. I'll take it. Lauren.
Yeah, I mean, it's Asylum. I feel like because of Vince controlling her moves, it's just too much.
I feel like she's been in everybody Asylum. You not nobody.
Anytime I am like, oh, like who's Lauren? And I'm like, oh, actually, she did that thing that Vince wanted her to do.
Yeah. Girl, and then she's still, you're not a girl, but she's still talking about some, I still want to work with Vince and da-da-da-da after he done put her up. Girl, stand up. All right, Keanu, this your boy.
I mean, camp.
Yeah, I'll take it. Girl, Kelly.
Okay. Oh gosh. Then Kelly's Chop.
Yep.
And then Ashley, I guess, is mid.
Ashley.
I don't even.
They don't got to be in different. They don't have to be in different.
Oh, they don't have. Oh, I thought they all have to be in a separate
surely
one.
Don't. They surely don't. If you wanted to move anyone, you can move someone.
Then let's move her to camp. I feel
Ashley.
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
She's there for
you want to move anyone else? You don't got to.
Okay. Yeah, if I was moving anyone else,
you don't have to.
I mean, if I moved Kelly to Child, because when she was like, I'm gonna win that veto and give it to Ava, I was like, Child.
Yeah.
It fits her. What are you talking about?
And then Vince, he's the last one.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Forgot about him, huh?
I'm gonna put him as mid because I think he had some great moves, but now he's just had so many not great moves. I'm like, you know what? You're actually okay, but you're not great. And I thought you were gonna be great.
I know that's right. All right, y'all. This is how Kyland feels. Screenshot it and add him everywhere. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Don't do that. All right. Thank you so much for being here. You were amazing to speak to. I really appreciate it. Where do you want the girls to find you? Drop your social medias, etc., etc.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm on Instagram. You can. I was like, I'm on Instagram. Kyland Young. I'm getting ready to do some more podcast episodes actually in these next couple weeks. So that'll be on YouTube, but I'll share that. And then TikTok, you know, I'm usually there almost every day live. Kyland Young. And yeah, I mean, those are the main spots. I mean, Snapchat, same thing, Kyland Young. So I like to engage. I like to talk about things. So and like I said, I'm excited to put out more stuff on YouTube as well for the podcast, and then maybe some of these talks with the schools or something as well. So just follow me. It's the easiest thing to do is just follow me on Instagram and TikTok, and I'll talk about whatever's coming up.
I know that's right. Also, subscribe to us if you're new. Follow, like, share, comment, all of that. Get into
definitely subscribe and follow the Reality Kingdom. I mean, this squad has been in it so deep and showing, you know, so much love to like me and the cookout, which we appreciate, but then also just like the fandom that you guys have for these shows is so palpable and seen, and the hard work and consistency that you guys have put in. Like, running a show is so much work, and you guys have done this for a long time and just so well. And I just want to give you guys all your flowers, like you are just doing so much, and your team is just amazing. And yeah, just want to give you props.
Thank you. Speaking of the team, if y'all want to join the team, we are hiring. The link is in the description. If you've applied, y'all better go to y'all emails and schedule them interviews right now. And also get into the other stuff we're doing, because real quick, we're still doing Big Brother every Tuesday, every Wednesday, every Thursday. Actually, this is our last after show. So just next Tuesday, next Thursday, we'll be back. Oh, you were amazing last guest. I wanted you at the end. I was like, yes, amazing. Raise it, eats. Also, every Monday, every Wednesday, we will be doing Survivor Nicaragua for our rewind on Mondays. And of course, Survivor 49 every Wednesday. Every single Thursday, we'll be doing The Amazing Race. Every single Friday, we will be doing the challenge. And then, of course, our rewind for Big Brother 6 and Love is Blind, bitch. We're doing everything. So please subscribe. All right, Kyland. Thank you for being here. Thank you guys for keeping it real with the kingdom. We're out.
Thank you so much.